Hey guys, welcome back again to another Allan Holdsworth lesson video. It's like my, I don't know, 11th one now? 11th song? I'm still pumping these out. If you guys keep watching it, I'll keep doing it. Today, I decided to do another pretty easy one. I had another song in mind, but I changed it sort of last minute. We're going to do Water on the Brain Part 2. And I think the reason why this is called Part 2 is because this song originally was recorded with vocals and was supposed to be on the first IOU record, but I think they lost the tape or something happened and they deemed it lost forever. So when Allan redid it again for the Road Games album, instead of having vocals on it for whatever reason, he just played the main vocal line on guitar, and then I guess that's the Part 2 version, and that's stuck all the way since for the rest of his career. This is a relatively simple song. It's really just like an A-B kind of form with like a bridge section. And what's interesting, there's another, once again, got to shout out my buddy, transcription guru, Joe Britton, did a fantastic job with this. And actually, when I had looked at his transcription, he was able to pick something out, which I only realized like maybe a day before I saw it, just by watching a video by happenstance. Allan actually changes the way he plays this song from when he had first recorded it till, I don't know when it changed, but for most of his career he played it the other way. I'll show you the way that he played it for most of his career and show you the little stuff that it's very minor stuff, and I'm not even sure why it was changed, but it was. It's only about 3 chords, and it's only in that bridge section. And again, during the solo sections, it's the same as the main A section, but Allan never plays it the same way every time. This is once again that jazz thing where he's thinking about the key that it belongs to and is playing more about in that key than the exact chord voicings. But these are the exact chord voicings that he's playing for at least more chords that he's playing consistently more often than not, except for obviously, like I said, the solo section. So let's get started right away. Now, the first chord is this. It's actually an F major 9 chord, and it's kind of done in a bizarre. I'm sure that it probably comes from this voicing that he likes using a lot, but the 9 is on the bottom, and I think that makes the most sense because you have F, A, and E, and then you have a G. And he doesn't use this chord that often, but he certainly uses it a lot. And at first I thought it was sort of maybe from a minor add 9 with an A there, but it's really a G. And this voicing is really the voicing that the whole main section sort of built off of. So the first one is an F major 9. Also, the rhythm of the song is really strange, but I'm not going to bother going through it because, once again, we care more about at least for me, care more about the chords and the voicings than the rhythm. You can obviously just listen to it, and some of you guys have been Allan Holdsworth fans longer than I've been alive, so you probably know the song much better than I do. So it first starts up with an F major 9, and then it moves up to the same exact voicing but an octave higher. So now instead of playing on the middle 4 strings, you're actually playing it on the top 4 strings. And then you move that from F major 9 to C major 9. So we have this. Then back to F major 9. And now you take that same voicing, but now you play it like this, and it's actually a dominant 9. So now instead of this being the major 7, you're actually playing the flat 7. This is an E flat 9 chord. Then we have another major 9, but this time it's a C sharp major add 9. Now this is a pretty smart voicing, I think, because the root is actually in the middle of the chord, not on the bottom. So let's say we have a C and we have a C sharp. If we swap those, then we have a kind of a regular boring C sharp major 9 chord. But if you take the root and you play it up a whole step and then move the other chord down, move the other voice down, you have this voicing. This is also a really easy way to, like, if you want to come up with a cool Allan voicing, one of the easiest ways you could do it is you could take any chord that has 2 notes a half step apart. whether it's the 2 and the flat 3 in a minor 9, or the 7 and the 1 in a major 7, or like a minor 13, the 6 and the flat 7. Any sort of chord that has a note half step apart, make it a flat 9 apart. So, or if some sort of major 7 interval, switch it to a flat 9 interval. So move one note down a half step and another up a half step. So you have a flat 9 in there somewhere. And it's a very easy way to get like a weird chord that you'll never see. For example, this E major 9, E major 7. If you take the major 7 and move it up a half step, and then you take the root and move it down a half step, you have this chord, which is in his instructional video. But it works almost all the time to come up with a cool Allan chord. So anyway, that first chord here is a C sharp major major 9. Keep on saying add 9. He uses those chords a lot. But C sharp major 9. And then you move that up a whole step to D sharp major 9. So F major 9, F major 9, C major 9, F major 9, E flat 9, dominant 9, C sharp major 9, D sharp major 9. Now you move that first chord voicing that we have, and now you play it at C sharp. So you have a C sharp major 9. You play that C sharp major 9 chord again. But now, this is what's a little weird. This is the one chord in this song I think is a little too strange, is you actually play this voicing. You don't play the same exact chord, but now the note that's on the G string, which would be your root, is now a half step up. So if you consider C still as your root here, then you have a C minor 7 flat 9. I never like those chords, the actual chords with a flat 9 in them. And if you can see it, if you take the root and you put it down on the A string, you would have this. In my book, I think I call this chord like a B flat minor 11, because I think it makes more sense to see. But if we're keeping the same interval structure as the other chords, I want to at least try to keep it consistent. So I would call this a C minor 7 with a flat 9. So, and then the last chord is just a B9. So that whole thing is. And now the next section is 3 minor 7 sharp 5 chords. It's just played like this though. You can almost think of this as a E sus 2, E flat sus 2, with a G in the bass. Or you can think of, instead of a sharp 5, you're adding the flat 6. I always like to think of the chord, for me, as a minor 7 sharp 5, just makes sense. You could also think of this as an inversion of a major add 9 chord, but I think here, the way that it's voiced, it makes more sense as a minor 7 with a sharp 5 or a flat 6. And you'll see why. So it's G minor 7 sharp 5, and then A minor 7 sharp 5, and then C minor 7 sharp 5. Back again, and then Allan likes to play the open D here. So playing that open D really doesn't make it a sharp 5 anymore. It really makes that note a flat 6, the E flat. But that's just how I see it. And then the last chord, this is a really tricky chord to play for me. If you've got big hands, it's really not that bad. It's a C sharp major with an add sharp 11. I love this chord. It's also the last chord in Material Real. And it's really just a C sharp major, but you're using the open G as your sharp 11. And what makes this tough is that my middle finger likes to, I'm sort of barring with my third finger on the E and the A, and my middle finger likes to touch the G string so it doesn't ring out. That sounds weird, but that's kind of as good as it's going to get. Or you can just disregard the G sharp in the bass and just play just the C sharp there. That's just the beginning part, and that happens through 90% of the song, really. The only thing that's different is this bridge part we're going to do next and the final chord. So here's the bridge section. Okay, the bridge section. I think this only happens once in the entire song, if I remember correctly, even when it's played live. Usually when it's played, though, live, the bass is what's soloing, and Allan's not doing any soloing. Although, on the recorded version for IOU, Allan does take a guitar solo. But I guess he just used this song as a take a break from soloing. So this is the bridge part. The first chord is this C sharp add 11. And then you sort of play the F on the top, the major third. This chord, if you've paid attention, if you watch my other videos, you'll see it was also in, this is actually a popular chord that Allan likes to play, but the song I think of it in right now is, I'm blanking, Zarabeth. I was blanking out for a little bit. I remember how to play it, but I don't remember the name of the song. So he uses this chord a lot. He also, you can think of this as like a, he'll think of this as like an E flat minor kind of thing, what you can add to it. But I think in this case, C sharp major with an add 11. And it's built from this shape here. And then you just have the 11 here as your F sharp, I'm sorry. And then the next chord is a third inversion major 7, so it's a G sharp major 7. So you have a G sharp major triad on the top, and then a G in the bass. And then the next chord is an E major 7 sharp 11. Yeah, that's just that simple. And then the next part is what Allan actually changed. So these three chords are what, well, technically four, are different on the recorded version than subsequent live versions after that. Once again, I'm going to be talking about the way that I've seen Allan play it more of the often than not, and talk about what's actually on the record. So when Allan plays it live, he just plays A flat major and then G flat major here. But the bass is actually playing this note. But when Allan actually recorded, he's actually playing the bass note here, which is a D and a C, which is really awkward sounding. And if you treat the lowest note here as your root, you're going to have a tough time nearly naming this chord, because you've got a flat 7, a flat 9, and either a sharp 11 or a flat 5. It's probably the best to think of this chord, if you really want to, as like a weird inversion of a flat major with an added sharp 11, with that note being in the bass, and then a G flat major with a sharp 11 in the bass. Or just an A flat triad with the D in the bass and a G flat triad with the C in the bass. And the next chord is, this is how Allan had played it live. He plays a regular B major add 9, and then he goes to an E major 13, which is very physically easy to play. But on the live, on the recorded version, he's actually playing this, which is like a B major 11, and then you take that same shape and you move it up to E. So you got a B major 11 and an E major 11, and then the next chord. So to just reiterate that part, we have a C sharp major add 11, G sharp major 7 with the G in the bass, and then E major 7 sharp 11, A flat major, G flat major, B major add 9, E major 13, and then this chord. This one's a real tough one. This chord I think of as in home. Actually, Allan plays it in G here, which is one of those, like, how am I ever going to play this chord right? It's such a pain in the butt. And it's actually a really smart voicing. You can think of it as a major and 9, but now instead of having the 5th here, you move it down to the sharp 11. But now, just by doing this with your 3rd finger and pinky is really tricky. But that's the next chord. It's an A major add 9, add sharp 11. Then after that, you have like a little chord melody thing. The first chord here, you could think of it as a weird version of a C major add 9. Because you have a C major here, and then you have the 9, the D in the bass. So you just play this D really quickly, because then you need your other finger to actually play. You're playing the C to D here, and then you're using your pinky to hammer on from E to G, like that. And then the next chord is a G major 7, the same voicing as before, so now it's in third inversion, so your F sharp's in the bass, or the major 7's in the bass, and then an E flat major 7, sharp 11. So that's the whole part. I'll try to play it again. This song is actually relatively easy to understand, but I have a lot of physical difficulty with this for whatever reason. Maybe because I just really learned it and never really practiced it, but... And that's the whole bridge section. The only thing different is the very, very end of the chord, because then it goes back to F major 9, and then that's where the soloing starts. When it gets out of it, repeats that same main section. The only thing that's different at the very end, is the last chord of the song is... this is the same ending chord voicing as in Pudwood. You can think of this chord as an F major triad with an F sharp major triad here, sort of together. I think probably the best way for me, once again, is the way that I call it, is a major 13 sharp 5 chord. So this to me is a C sharp major 13 with a sharp 5, all 6 notes. And that's it. That's the whole song. As I said, it's not that many chords. It's a little physically weird, but relatively simple. Not a lot of modulating or anything like that. And it's an early Allan song, so it'll give you a good idea of how the songs kind of evolved throughout the years. So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break from these videos. Not too much, but I wanted to try to do them every week, and I'm trying to find time for it. And I just need I need a little bit of time to relax for myself. So probably in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I'll put one out. But I think the next one that I'm going to do is probably going to be a big one then. I don't know. I'll just I play these things by ear. Whatever I feel like I want to do, I end up doing. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learned a little bit about the song. And if you got, once again, any suggestions, no syntax tunes. They're a pain in the butt. I've probably done them already, and if I get enough people asking for it, maybe I'll do that next. But I have an idea of the next sort of few ones that I want to do. So thanks again for joining me with this video, and I'll see you guys soon.